Hey Mustangs, welcome back to Canard TV. Today we're going to get into Habit 1, the first of our 7 habits that we'll be talking through over the next several weeks. And we're going to get into that with Mrs. LaRue taking us through the first habit. But before we get started, we got to kick things off with one of the universe's greatest jokes. So let's see what we have for today. I think we've got a science joke today. All right, here we go. Why are chemists great at problem solving? It's because they have all the solutions. That's one of the universe's greatest jokes right there. All right, well now we're gonna get started with habit 1. So we are in the roots of the habit tree right now, one of the private victories, and the first habit is called be proactive. And we'll kick things off here with our assistant principal, Mrs. LaRue. Mrs. LaRue, you ready to go? Oh, hey, I wouldn't shake that pop-up if I were you.
Oh, hey there, Mr. Morrill, and all of you out there in ELO land. You might be wondering what I'm doing. Just conducting a little experiment to help me explain Habit 1, be proactive. But we'll get back to that in just a few minutes. First, let me share with you some background information about what Habit 1 is all about. Habit 1 is be proactive. And it comes first out of all of the habits because it's the key to unlocking the rest of the habits. Habit 1 says, I am the force. I am the one in control of my life. I can choose my attitude. I'm responsible for my own happiness or unhappiness. And ultimately, I'm in the driver's seat of my destiny. I'm not just a passenger watching life pass me by. This habit forms the roots of the habit tree and comes first because it's the foundation and support for the rest of the habits. If you recall, a few weeks ago, Mr. Bergman introduced the 7 habits to you and explained that your thoughts become your words, they become your actions, and your actions are what form your habits and your character. Well, habit 1 is all about how you control your thoughts, which then affect your words and your actions. So, habit 1 is called one of the private victories. In fact, the first 3 habits are all private victories because they all focus inward on what you can control about yourself to help you find success in life. And you can't find success with the rest of those habits until you take charge of your thoughts, words, and actions through habit 1. A good way to understand what being proactive is to compare it to what it isn't. The opposite of being proactive is being reactive. And every day we have choices in life about whether we're going to react or be proactive in a situation. But you know what? I know somebody really well who I think could demonstrate what it means to be reactive even better than I can. Let me introduce you to my 5-year-old son, Parker.
I win.
I know that with you again.
Soon they were all fast asleep. Night, night, Morty.
Okay, guys, that was our last book. It's time for bed.
No, I don't want to do it. You go to bed. I'm not tired. Did I eat enough for candy?
Oh, definitely not. You gotta be Clean Plate Club for candy.
No way!
Okay, well, hopefully you've matured past the point of throwing a fit about losing a card game or getting angry when you have to go to bed at night. But we all face difficult obstacles every day where we can react to the situation or where we can be proactive. For example, you might sleep through your alarm. You could wake up and realize it's raining for a 3rd day in a row. You get in a fight with your sister, lose your favorite hoodie, or do poorly on a test at school. All of these situations force you to decide whether you're going to react or be proactive. You could stay in a bad mood all day. You can give a friend the cold shoulder for a week. You can not talk to your sister. Or you can look inwardly and think about how you can take control of your life and your happiness. Ultimately, the choice is yours. You see, reactive people respond based on emotions. They act before thinking. In fact, they're a lot like this can of soda. As life shakes them up, they get more and more angry until they're about to explode. The pressure builds and what a mess. Nobody wants to be like that in life. So how do you change your thoughts and your actions to be proactive? You want to first pause and think. Second, speak and always act third. People who are proactive make choices based on their values. Remember those principles and values that Mrs. Irvine and Mrs. Young taught you about a few weeks ago? Well, here they come again. If you're proactive, you think before you act. You recognize you can't control everything, but you can control yourself and your thoughts. You can use your principles and values to make decisions about how you want to respond in a situation. So while life might still shake up a proactive person, they take intentional steps to release the pressure, just like I'm releasing the carbonation in this can before I open it. This is how a proactive person pauses when life shakes them up. Much better. Okay, so now it's your turn. I'm going to give you a chance to practice how to shift from being reactive to being proactive. So as a class, in just a second, you're going to pause the video and you're going to take these reactive statements and change them to how a proactive person would respond in the same situation. Over here, you're going to see things like a fixed mindset, blaming others, or not taking ownership of a situation. See if you can work together to respond proactively. Great job. Your teachers have a guide to compare your answers to those that they can find in the guide, but I'm sure you did a great job of figuring out how a proactive person would respond. Remember, in general, a proactive person can brush things off without getting offended. They take responsibility for their choices. They think before they act. They bounce back when something bad happens. They always find a way to move forward. They think about solutions and options, often before the problem even presents itself. And they focus on the things that they can control and don't worry about the things that are outside of their control. Remember though, you don't have to be perfect. You might be thinking to yourself, but Mrs. LaRue, this is way easier said than done. And you're right, it is much easier to snap at your sister or blame a teacher when you don't do well on a test. It takes control and practice to be proactive in difficult situations. It's easy to lose your cool, and it's much more difficult to hit pause, look inward, and find ways that you can shift that situation. The key, though, is to get into this habit. The more you practice it, the more you'll naturally respond that way. I like to think of it as being a mirror person. You see, a mirror person looks inwardly. They reflect on themselves when they're in a difficult situation. In comparison, a window person looks out. They point their finger and blame others when life doesn't give them what they want. So my challenge to you is try to be that mirror person. When something comes up in life that's difficult or is an obstacle, look inward first. Think about what can I control? What can I change? Or what steps can I take to improve this situation myself? I have one last thing for you today. I'm going to describe a person that all of us know well. See if you can figure out who I'm talking about. This man is very famous in history, but he grew up uneducated and poor. He failed in business twice by the age of 25. He was defeated for the state legislature by the age of 23 and coped with the death of a fiancé at 26. In fact, he suffered a nervous breakdown when he was only 27. He was defeated for Speaker of the House at 29 and for a congressional nomination at 34. Then he lost a Senate race not once, but twice. He also lost a nomination to the vice presidency, but we all know who he is. Did you guess right? It's Abraham Lincoln. At age 51, he became president of the United States, and he's famous for getting the nation through the Civil War, abolishing slavery, and preserving the Union. He could have given up. He could have been reactive, but instead he chose to be proactive and respond and take control when life threw all those obstacles at him. So again, this is your challenge too. How are you going to turn it around and be proactive in your life to practice habit 1? You can take control and you can be proactive no matter what life throws at you every day. All right, guys, thanks for spending time with me today. I hope you have a great afternoon, and go Mustangs.
All right, welcome back. Thanks, Mrs. LaRue, for the excellent start to our 7 Habits work that we'll be doing together. And wow, thanks for this Coca-Cola. I don't know where that came from. Also, let's see here. Oh, thanks for the tip as well. You guys have a great day. We'll see you next time.